Yachi for immigration officers be a war wa baby a frozen Naro and wa Upper West region. Nenya mo kwa omoni two residents ba me no ka say e de omo akwakwa gina mu e wo court. Na de nte yachi omo ene say according to your sources any report ayensa kan allegedly omatumi abbo papa bia ne din ede Mr Patrick Banoburi amana fremu ya we any reporter reach out e wo your front desk Vibe Media na e more information any details be a womb a barber summon. Unsubscribe to channel now make sure say me no kase abe subscribe say the be news better from near the brewa unso benya bi etie no hu de ekoso e wo gan ha say any area self na bia na Vibe Media your name Mr Patrick awanya ni baby ko ni nua bema Richard Eddie enkomo na se na be run enkomo de anim no yen hwe say the story ni nyina e unfold yem. According to your sources, Mr. Patrick ekofa 18 ships enyan 18 and okoton de ma Fulani ni bi. Na odu Fulani ni nchen no ne no didi nkomo kan the price because oh okay fine me so meto na mom na adwumi ne ntanta kakra se wo hwe Mr. Patrick ontimi nya 18 ships ntina so timi fetchre no ne personal investigation no ene ma ne ko hu se enyan na Mr. Patrick ton de ama no enye ono ankasa ne dia ne no started so wo bokromofo amane e momo bible hu ampa kono die wakwakọ wiasa enwan no na wo ba betom. According to report ayensa kan no empempi no bibekas onade ntino mo che no manfa nanko police station se wutie ensema resident mo na ru eka so bi korea dia na se bibi ba na de nipa no police station allegedly na police for agisika bi no mo jai enipa nto mo hu ni sanom na mo se we dey immigration officer wo ho na wo so mutimide Mr Patrick Banaburu 38 years wakọ enwan na wokoton no omotumi ede no ekọ na je so mo de no kọ ya any immigration officers allegedly omo assaulting ye pa omo de ababo born no mu ma ne press up de chechire ne inside the handcuff nyina na koye ensem bebre no mu na wotimi edi free mu say no kre anase enye no kre na brebo pina busua no ono ankasa nua be ma Richard say eno chechire mu de chire Vibe Media for. Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, yesterday we heard about your brother's incident, and this is Vibe Media. We want to know from the side of the family what really happened.
Okay, so what happened was that on 6th of this month,
okay,
my brother was found with 18 sheep, which he sent to give to a Fulani man. And then the Fulani man suspected that the animals might not belong to my brother. So he called some members from the community to come and witness it. So they went, and the community members identified my brother as coming from the neighboring community. So they invited some two gentlemen from our community to come and witness it. So the two gentlemen came and they said, and they found the sheep with him. They were able to identify the sheep with the owner.
Okay.
And so they asked him to return the sheep home, which he did, 18 of the sheep. So when he returned them home, the following day, some members of the community went to the house and asked that my brother, even though he returned all the sheep, they had to pull his ear. So I was not in the community as of that time. Okay. So I was called and informed about the incident. So they told me they had met at the community square to resolve the issue. And some of them suggested that they will cane him as a community. So they were then calling to seek my consent. And I said, yes, his ear has to be pulled. He is an adult. He's responsible. So if he does something that is not right, he has some punishment has to be meted out to him. So I said, yes, I agree with that. But if I say you shouldn't pull his ear right in the community, then what that would mean was that I'll have to come with police to pick him to the police station. So I said I was also coming around. I was coming to a neighboring community to attend a funeral. So they should resolve the issue. But when I came, then I'll get the briefing.
Okay.
Then later, some people said no, they should send him to the community where they initially found him with the sheep the previous day, where the checkpoint, immigration officers, how do you call it, immigration posts.
Okay.
Those officers are stationed there, and this is what they are noted for dealing with criminals.
Okay.
When they find anybody suspected to have committed crime, the community hands him to the officers, and then they will not discipline the person on their terms. So they said they will go and do that, but that was not brought to my notice. So they tied his hands to his back and sent him to the immigration checkpoints where they delivered it to the officers. And the officers said they were going to let him punish himself, so they said he should do press-ups, which he started. And then they ordered the community members to go back home, and then my brother should come for him in the evening. So in 4 hours' time, I didn't know what had happened. I was still making my plans to do whatever I wanted to do. Then I had a call that he died in the hands of the immigration officers, and they called that they should come for the body. So I was at that point, I said, no, you couldn't go for the body. You have to go with police. So I went to the regional police command and lodged a complaint. So we went to them. They actually didn't deny that they did something. So they inspected the body, and then they picked the body.
Okay, so
and
they assaulted him, or is just only the person?
Yes, they assaulted him. They assaulted him. When we inspected the body, I just got alarmed, because you can't just imagine that a human being would treat a human being like that. I think their hearts are even worse than the hearts of the devil. Excuse my language.
Wow.
But the back, he was so mutilated. All the skin of his buttocks were all peeled off. The back was so terrible. So it means that they were just beating him. And people who witnessed it, some of them who spoke to me, yesterday, even a man called me and said he was coming from his farm when he saw him on this entire road. In this hot season, they made him to be rolling on it. And it got to a point he was crying and said he just wanted water. And the officer said everybody should know him. The officer said a lot of people gathered there. So as he was rolling, then they were pumping water on him. And he kept rolling there. And then I got to a point he couldn't even do any of the things that they say he should do. So they kept beating him. And that was what they did until he died.
Wow, that's so serious. We had a chance to speak to some officers around that place, and they told us your brother was already beaten before they brought him to their station.
Yeah, so they went to the community yesterday to find out. My brother was never beaten. It's a terrible lie. You can speak. In fact, you can even send your reporter to my community. They should go there and find out, confirm it. They went there yesterday. They asked, and they said he was not beaten. My brother, nobody even touched him. It was only the tying of his hand. The tying of his hands. That was never done. In fact, when the officers, when we went and the police spoke to the officers said when they brought him, he was fine. The officer said he was fine. So they received him and they started the whole process. My brother was not beaten at all. It's a lie from the pit of hell.
Okay. So what are the police saying about the whole incident?
So what they are saying is that two gentlemen we met on the scene, they are civilians. So they came there, claimed that they were our family members. Some of them started. It happens that anybody who lost his animal and has not found it, or everybody claims that he's the one. They never found him with anything. But as soon as this happened, everybody started saying that he stole his this, he stole his this, he stole his that. And there has never been any such incident brought to our notice. And we have been around, and he is there with us. We live together. So some of them will go and say, he stole this, he stole it. So some two gentlemen who went and claimed that they were our family member and said my brother has been a thorn in their flesh, should be disciplined. They stood there and watched it happen, and so they were picked up, and then four of the immigration officers were also arrested. The day before yesterday, they brought them to court, but they have been remanded to reappear on Monday.
Okay. Was your brother married? And maybe probably with
yes,
kids?
He's married. Yes, my brother is married with 4 children. The last one is actually 4 months old.
4 months old?
Yes.
Oh, how's the wife and the children faring? How are they taking this sad news?
They're all distressed. They're all distressed. You can just imagine that. He was feeding his family. He could have his weaknesses, but whatever it was, he ensured that his family was fed. But you can just imagine. So they are distressed, seriously.
Okay. Aside going to the police station, have you taken another step towards this issue?
No, I've not taken any step. I want to see how this matter unfolds in the coming days before I then maybe if I can seek legal advice as to whether there's any other option available to me or to the family.
Okay. Is this the first time hearing something about your brother for going for other sheep that does not belong to him?
There was an incident that happened some 10 years back, some 10 years ago, where he was involved in a cattle issue. So he and some people sold a cow.
Okay.
It's just a young cow to some people. So the issue was brought to our notice. We're fined, we paid the penalty for it.
Okay.
So we kept warning him that this is not part of our family. So we never, so in fact, that's why when it happened, we became jittery. So, but we kept warning him that he should never involve in any such act. But shocking that it happened. So when it happened, we all said that no, we had to pull it here. But ever since this happened more than 10 years ago. So there has never been any other incident aside that case.
Okay. Since the incident happened, anyone from the immigration office, any higher authority spoken to you?
For me personally, no. But to the family, they went yesterday to find out whether he was beaten before being sent to the immigration officers. And my family said no, he was not beaten. So that's all that has happened. But nobody from the immigration service has spoken to me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Richard, for your time. Just hoping your brother will get a well-deserving justice for his painful death.
I'm so grateful.
If anything, we'll come back to you then know the way forward and any updates.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
For any enkomo twetwe course between GH5 Media yene Mr. Patrick Awefrem mo ni nua bema awose ba no krono sem na se bi obi akowie anwa obi akowie kawa once per na ne nua no ayenti we the second time ne fofia nto ata watimi efrem mo nua bema de wo kyeremu say eyewitness for mu hu ye ka say oh immigration officers no eno mu brim ni nua na nkasa mo kohwe ne bade ne kwa no said na chi awanwai sebe ne tonwo kwampo aroro de free ho no na just more treatment and as a deep assault ba and a call so immigration officer no the same no can say do mako PMO police station na omoko court na omasenso etu ashada asese no on the 17th of March 2025 and for immigration officers and the 2 residents omoka wan che wo mo no omonso yedem kwa kogina court na ne bibia ho a omatumi akam na utie Mr. Richard and ne Efrem ya ono die omontena honum emasa asem we enka justice benua no deserve bia no ewo se ne sa etumi ekam na bra ba ne sa no GH5 Media yentie ba akofo nko asem ene de ebremo any other immigration officers ne bi edin komo mo Upper West region one asase mi see ye no mo around mo kyerem say time our residents no ede Mr. Patrick by no mo de kan abo no krampo amabo na amana ye memremre eno mo de no ebre wo mo because na che say any enya nyenti ne omo eno mo bo no Emma omo free mu na breche sa officers see o hwe de we de handcuff agu omo nsa na e de omo eko police station e de omo nam foma ha na akwakoda ne areho se me pananso ne nyina mu no ye hwe se emra ebeto bebi amra da na de deserve justice no otumi enya na bibia no etumi atode ntin we any reporter yensa kan e free Naro eba for immigration officers ayisi ano edi omo ekwa akogina emrenim so mabo bi ama nipa na to nanom ewo nsiedo nso betumi akire wadwen ewo comment section hono na any update there free hoba ebe senso eda bab so ma ha say AJ Vibe Media be patch subscribe to channel no subscribe ya medin any catch akwese makra munyina.